IRA would go after you. So now there's no point. We have a system now where where we pay for income we make legitimately. It's called income tax. All societies or most industrial societies have it. There's a reason for it. The criminal groups, they don't want to play. They don't want to play by the rules.
And so ever since 2008, the thing that's always been in the news are banks. Banks this, banks that.
Mhm.
Do you think that in this economic downturn, the banks are easily accepting more large amounts of cash?
Again, you'd have to. I'm not working inside the industry. No, I don't think they haven't relaxed their principles that I've seen. FinTrack is still. They work in cooperation with FinTrack to see about questionable amounts of cash. It's in their best interest because if for an example a bank just decided to overlook it and became the gangsters bank of Canada or something, it wouldn't last long. It'd be the first thing you can imagine. It would just draw attention to themselves. They use the bank. Criminals can use the banking rules to their advantage, but then so can private citizens. Business people do it. There's tax advantages to offshore things. Tax avoidance is one thing. Tax evasion another. So people defer taxes. They various things that way. So the banking industry. We're lucky. We have a very strong banking industry here. Sometimes people get mad when they make money, but if we've seen anything, we've seen banks south of the border fail and people lose all their savings, runs on banks. We don't have that here. Again, I'm not an authority on banking regulations, but the things that are put in place, for loans and mortgages, that sort of thing, we probably won't have that kind of a meltdown here. So, it's and then the banks have their business to run. To be sure, they're private; they report to their shareholders, but they work hand in hand with federal and provincial and municipal agencies like us, because it won't be the bank that fails, but it'll be one of our citizens who loses maybe everything, and they're out of luck. So we're here working in conjunction with them to protect our citizens.
Are you allowed to give us like a case in York Region that you've worked on money laundering or?
I mean, just very, very generic. We typically see it with card skimming groups, the people that attack, ATMs and get your stuff, get your information, and then will buy property with these cards, skimmed cards, then sell that property quickly, convert to cash, and then take that cash and they stow it away in different bank accounts. That's about the level we do it at. With us, if we can follow that money, we can bring it back to the original crime. We can see that they don't have any. They claim that they declared they made $10,000 income, and maybe they're on social assistance. But it doesn't make sense because they're in like I say, $1 million or $2 million home. They've got a couple of Beamers in the driveway. It's the two. Just the lifestyle doesn't add up to what's on paper. That forms the evidence for us to show that money was probably obtained by crime and that they took steps to launder the money. So that's when we would normally. If it's somebody that's got a pile of money underneath their mattress, no, that's evidence of an offense maybe, and it's seized, and it's for the courts to decide the disposition on that. And if we can show a real link to it, then they will forfeit that money, and it will go to the government.
Is money laundering deemed a white collar crime?
I guess it falls in it falls under the heading of white collar crime along with fraud and securities fraud, which is the OSC that deals in that. But sometimes there's a crossover between the two. So yeah, it would be considered white collar.
Can you explain what that means? White collar crime?
It's what they've sort of given it, the definition of most large frauds. If you're selling drugs, that's not a white collar crime. But as soon as you go to the suits, well, they look really good, and they go into the bank and oh hi there, and they're very friendly, and bang, there's a briefcase full of money. Then that would be, I guess, the white collar crime of it. To me, speaking from where I sit, white collar crime is it could be a crime of opportunity. It could be the old cornball line about the best employee that you ever had working as your bookkeeper or accountant in a large in a large firm or whatever. Never misses a day, but they break their leg, and the day that day you're looking for something and you see a big stack of whatever it is, and you discover it. That's white collar crime. Typically, no violence involved. Some people call it, unfortunately, a victimless crime. There's no such thing as a victimless crime, in my opinion. We have victims that, as I say, in some cases have lost everything. Sometimes we've had people commit suicide because they've lost everything, or they've put trust in a certain person. We've had seniors who thought that they had security into their old age that have nothing. So that kind of annoys me when I hear the victimless crime. There's no such animal as far as I'm concerned.
And money laundering is detrimental to society?
It is detrimental to society only because, for a couple of reasons, but I think mainly because it gives criminals profit. And if they keep profit, then they're going to keep doing it, and they're going to keep doing whatever they do that is very dangerous to our society, whether it's drugs or guns or scams that ruin people financially. So yeah, the idea is to take away the profit, take their money. You didn't earn it legally, so you're not going to profit by it legally. You can color it any way you want. You can portray it as, you can launder it as many times as you want. That has to be removed from the element. When it stops paying, can combine with a criminal conviction or whatever in a criminal court. Oh, guess what? When you get out of jail, but I've got that nice little nest egg sitting over there, right? Whatever it happens to be. If that's gone, then it doesn't look so profitable anymore, and they'll move on or leave the country or I don't know, stop doing whatever they're doing.
And can money laundering benefit the economy in any way?
No, I can't think how. Again, it's using a legitimate system where anybody can set up a business, small or large, and anybody can have a bank accounts, multiple bank accounts. It's not against the law to have 10 bank accounts if you want. You can run a business under a numbered company. That's not illegal. You can have for liability. You can have limited partnerships. You can have whatever it is. But the things that protect you as a small business person or whatever it may be, again, the criminal element in all aspects of our society can use that to their advantage too. So they're moving their money around doesn't affect me that way, unless it's counterfeiting money. That's another topic. In a counterfeit currency in an economy can be bad, but it hurts me, society as a whole, because what they're doing is hurting people to make crime, to make money, to launder the money, to get the money back in their pocket. Again, it's got to come down to why should everybody else work, but that person rip off. That's the nature of policing. It's following the rules or not following the rules. Most do, some don't. Some really don't because they are making such good money doing illegal activity that to them it pays for them to be in it, right?
Yeah. Are there any examples of any big businesses that have, or corporations that have been proven guilty of helping to launder money?
No, I'm not aware of any.
In the past, not present.
Not in York Region.
Not in York Region.
No.
Worldwide, no.
I can't think of any worldwide. Again, with large corporations, it's typically it's typically improper, I just think of, well, the failures of the mortgage lending institution in the U.S. for an example. I gather you guys have touched on this. That's not so much fraud as a lack of oversight. And somebody thought it would be a good idea to, like, if you made $100 a year, to give you a mortgage for $250,000 a year. How are you going to pay that? So that's credit and credit history and credit checks and all that kind of stuff. Some people get burned because the same companies, the banks maybe that went under, also the top people got bonuses. But no, that's not money laundering. That's oversight, I guess. And everybody made mistakes on that. But what was thought to be a good idea, unfortunately, real estate heated up, and then suddenly nobody can pay. Everybody walks away. The market, I'm simplifying it, but the market drops out, right? So, no, it's not really. Large companies, as I say, it's whatever they're selling or whatever they're doing. The market's dried up, or they're overextended credit. They've taken too much on. They've got liabilities like pensions to pay, and they just can't support. You've seen that a little bit in the auto industry. Unfunded liabilities, pensions. These are the things that drive up. But if you're not selling cars because the market is being cut into by a competitor, that's called free. It's called free enterprise, right? So.
And what are the exact criminal punishments of laundering money?
Certainly you can refer to the code 462.31.31 of the criminal code dealing with proceeds.